Hi, welcome to Sculpt Plays. I'm currently sat in a hotel room in Taunton, that's in Somerset in England, and it's the day after GRIDCon 3. GRIDCon is a gaming convention organised by Paul Grogan of Gaming Rules. You probably know he's fairly popular. And yeah, it's a great little convention, mostly gaming. There is a shop that has a stall for selling new games, and he does pre-orders and stuff, which you'll see in a bit. But yeah, really enjoyed it. It's been a fantastic few days. I actually travelled down on the Wednesday of last week. It's Monday today, but the convention proper is 3 days over Friday, Saturday, and well, 2.5 days because Sunday is more of a half day. But yeah, really good. Saw lots of people I haven't seen for quite a while. Played quite a number of games, and what I'm going to do is on the second day, on the Saturday, I took a bit of video where I walked around the convention, or around the hotel. This the hotel I'm in at the moment is the venue of, or this year was the venue of the convention itself. In previous years it's been held in Devon, which is where the name comes from, Gaming Rules in Devon Convention. But yeah, this year it's in Taunton in Somerset, and yeah, as I said, I took a bit of video walking around the hotel, showing the two main rooms, and there's a few smaller rooms that I'll also include a bit of footage of, and yeah, then after that I'll talk about the games I played a bit, because yeah, some great games played, and yeah, that's probably about it. I might talk a bit more in general at the end. I'll see what I feel like. Okay, so onto the footage of day 2. Hi, welcome to day 2 of GRIDCon. Well, GRIDCon 3. I'm going to do a quick walk through the hotel, show you the gaming rooms and people gaming, and then I'll probably record a bit later talking about the games I've played and that kind of thing. So yeah, let's go in. Here we are, is the hotel. Quickly walk down. And have Paul's lovely welcome to GRIDCon sign. And I'll head to the main room first. Quick stop by the sponsors.
Complete anarchy. It's the next mark.
So, main room is through here. This is the bar area. Really busy most of the time. But yeah, main room is in here, and as you'll see, loads and loads of people playing. Really busy. This is 20 past 10 in the morning of the main Saturday. And as you can see, absolutely packed with lots of people playing lots of games, including ones that are way too big to be playing at this time in the morning. And over on this side, Paul has a demo table set up. Looks like they are setting up to play Deal with the Devil. And the registration is over there, and this is Paul's, well, part of Paul's library that he's brought to the convention for people to play. Loads of stuff here. I'll have a quick wander around the room, and then I'll go to some of the other main room, and then there's a couple of small rooms. We see playing the gallerist. and not sure what this is. Oh, Ting Dyer, that looks like. And Carnegie. And we've got a bunch of things on the other tables as well. And June Imperium, played this last night, really good, really enjoyed it. Over here we've got Luke from the Broken Meeple. What are you playing? Precognition. Okay, very cool.
The most unique, clever card system we've seen in the game that we've just realised how to make it easier on the mind. Right, massive revelation. Yeah.
Catch up with you later, Luke. And another one I played the other day. It's really good, Atiwa. And another game of Atiwa. We've got more here, Tiny Towns. This looks like the gallerist setup to play. And over here we've got Imperial Steam, that looks like. Some classics as well, Castles of Burgundy. We've got Flamecraft, so yeah, lots and lots of really hot new games being played. Terraforming Mars is another classic. We've got Ark Nova over here. And what's this? This is Bonfire. So yeah, this is the main room, and we will wander out back through the bar, and I'll show you the other main room. So yeah, and as I said before, people are playing in here as well. This is a nice quiet area to get away from all the noise and everything. And then as we head across here, we've got the sort of breakfast area over here, which again, lots of people playing. Actually, most people are eating at the moment, so leave them to it. And we've got youth here. Starship Captain's being played over here. And yeah, so this is the second main room. A little bit smaller, a little bit quieter. Some nice small games. Nosfjord. And we've got Paul from Games Law here with his stall. And you see lots of nice things to buy. How's it been going, Paul?
Fairly busy.
Cool,
Lots
cool.
of people have collected their pre-orders, so that's good.
Yep.
Still a few to go.
Cool. So I'll catch up with you again later. Merchants and Marauders being played over here. Not sure what this is. Altar Quest. Very cool. Another game of Atiwa. It's like Ark Nova again. Another game of Ark Nova. Not sure what this is. That's like Nemesis, I think. So yeah, that's the second main room, and yeah, as I said, fairly small and a bit quieter. And then I'm going to pause this here, and I'm going to head upstairs because there's a couple of smaller rooms upstairs, but they are right on the top floor, so I'll be back in a second. So yeah, here we go up to the second floor of the hotel, where, as I said, they've got a couple of smaller rooms, and I've not been up here yet, so might have a little trouble finding them. Yeah, it looks like they're through this way, and here we go, here's one of them. Sponsored by Hachette, and
So 65 is a big
room. I won't go too much further. I can't tell what they're playing, but this looks like TI. Quick
This is the setup.
picture of that, and back out. As I said, little tiny rooms, but nice and quiet. Good for games like this, or that rather. And in here we have Vito demoing his next game, Inventions. And
those houses there, below the area 2, represents your position on time. Okay, what this means? This means that you may be ahead of time, or you may be behind. The timer is strong, that is calling. So right now, everybody's ahead of time. Just like think Leonardo da Vinci, he has a lot of ideas behind his time, right? But he couldn't make them because he didn't have the materials or the knowledge that he needs to invent stuff, right? So depends on how you're advancing on time. You can be behind or ahead of time, and that brings some consequences to the game. Okay, so being ahead of time is much better than behind. Just for you to know. Okay, so you got the presentation, the present cards, right? And if you notice the iconography just show the steps. Yeah. Okay. Play the card, send the worker.
Okay, leave them to it. I will talk a bit more about Inventions at some point. I've been very involved in the playtesting and development of that game. So yeah. And then it looks like we've got another room in here. So here's another room sponsored by Hachette, and wow, sun.
Yeah. But that's
Hello.
the risk element of it. Yeah. Okay, so I think. Yeah, you're just. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait because I need more cards. Yeah. So that's me done for that.
And they were playing Kingmaker, which I believe is being re-released by Surprise Stare Games. And then another little room, also sponsored by Hachette. And yeah, it looks like this one is reserved for a game playtest later. So yeah, so that's all the gaming rooms. I'm going to wend my way back down now, and yeah, I'll probably do a bit of, as I said, talk about the games I've played this weekend a bit later, and yeah, then get this uploaded. And oh, as I was coming back down, there was one more thing that I realised I forgot. There is a Bring and Buy, sponsored by Board and Dice. Lots of lovely second-hand games to buy. I came in here the other day and it was nowhere near as many as this. Okay, so that was my walk around of day 2. I hope you got a good impression of what the convention is like from that. And yeah, the main thing I wanted to communicate with that bit of video is just how focused on gaming the convention is. I know a lot of conventions, you know, like UKGE, Essen, Gen Con to a certain extent, and some of the other big American ones, they're more focused on sort of selling you games, whereas GRIDCon is very much a gaming with friends kind of convention. It's really good because of that. And yeah, so the games that I played, I'll just get my phone because I use BG Stats to record everything because I can't remember otherwise. So yeah, let's have a look. As I said earlier, I arrived on the Wednesday, and there were a few people who also travelled over on the Wednesday, and so we met up in the hotel bar, which you will have seen in the previous footage, and we played pretty light games. So a couple of games of just one. Great game that I saw that being played so often in the evenings. And I played it a fair bit myself as well. Didn't actually record every single play of that I did. But the one I wanted to highlight from the Wednesday evening was a game called Armadillo. It's a really interesting little game. It's fairly new. I think maybe was an Essen release. And it's a mixture of card play and dice rolling. You have these 6 dice, blue, yellow and red, if I remember correctly. And like the blue ones have 1 to 3 on them. The yellow ones, I think it was 4 to 6, and then the reds are like 7 to 9. And you're dealt a hand of cards. I don't remember if the entire deck is dealt, but the numbers on the cards are like 1 to 20. And the idea is you're getting rid of the cards in your hand. Whoever does, well, when somebody does that, that triggers the end of the game, and then you score penalty points for however many you have left in your hand. And the way a turn works is you select dice. You can select any number of the dice in any combination. So you could be, 1 blue, 2 yellow, and a red. You roll them. You total the numbers, the results on the dice. And if you have a card in your hand that matches that total, you get to play it. Everybody else around the table also gets to do that with that same total, and there are multiples of each number in the deck, obviously. And that leads to some really interesting decision making, because the odds on any, or the average roll of any single die is fairly obvious. The blue ones are going to average 2. The yellow ones, what did I say? They're 3 to 6, so they're going to. Oh no, not 3 to 6. 3 to 5. No, 4 to 6. Sorry, 4 to 6. So they are going to average 5, and so on. But once you start going for combinations, the averages start to get a bit more complicated, and I'm sure there are people that can do that math in their head, but I can't. And it's and you've also then got armadillo tokens, and basically if you can't match the number total rolled with a card in your hand, you get an armadillo token, and you can hold up to 5 of those, and you can use, I think it was up to 3. I think that's right. Might be wrong on that. I'd have to check the rules, and I don't have a copy of the game. But you can use the tokens to adjust the value rolled to match one of the cards in your hand. So the math then starts becoming really interesting and complicated, and it leads to you making plays that feel right, rather than sort of you've mathed it out and you know that these dice are going to give you that average, and you've got but you've also got certain amount of hand management in there, because you're trying to roll dice that are going to hit as many cards as you can out of your hand, and and then you can I'm pretty sure you don't deal out the whole deck, because otherwise you could fairly easily sort of card count and work out what the other players are likely to have, but I don't remember what size the hand was. It's like maybe 7 to 10, that kind of range, maybe a few more than that, but yeah, you can start to get an idea from the dice that the other players are rolling what kind of values they've got as well. So, you know, maybe you want to keep those cards that are in the same kind of range in your hand and not try for them, in the hope that they roll the value you've got, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, really interesting, really fun, nice little quick card and dice game. So that was Wednesday evening. We also played Stereo Mind, which I'm not really sure is a game. It's a bit weird. Look it up on BGG. I don't know how to describe it. It's just odd. Then Thursday, more just one. Friend that lives fairly close to the venue came over, as well as more people turned up during Thursday, including one of the people that I play Marvel Champions with, and this friend who plays Marvel Champion we play Marvel Champions with as well, and a friend from Malta who actually came down on the Wednesday. He was one of the people that arrived Wednesday. We actually got the train from London across to Taunton together. So we as a group, the four of us, we play Marvel Champions weekly online. Because we live in the three of us that live in England live in completely different parts of England, and there's the one friend that lives in Malta. So, we're normally playing Marvel Champions online. It's pretty much every week. So it was the first time the four of us had got together to play. That was really good. We played the second scenario in the latest campaign, the Mutant Genesis one. Really good. Had a lot of fun. We managed to beat it, which is always good. But yeah, it's a fun scenario. It kind of is a improved version of the Collector from the Galaxy's Most Wanted. Couldn't remember the name for a minute there. Vastly improved, and I really didn't like the Collector scenario. It's got some of the same mechanics. It's also got some bits from other, I can't remember what other scenario, but you get to rescue allies, which has been used before, but there's also the capturing of cards and stuff. It's really nice. So that was the highlight of Thursday. Also played St. Petersburg, which I haven't played in a very long time. Didn't do very well at, mainly because the person who brought it plays like loads online, has hundreds of games, and just wiped the floor with us. That's a great game. What else was there? Combinations. Combinations is it's Combinations. It's a fairly recent, I think it was an Essen release, and it's really interesting tile selection game, where you've got a hex map and the tiles are arrangements of hexes, a bit like Tetris pieces but with hexes instead of squares, and they have different terrains on them, like woods and plains and that kind of thing, and you're taking there's a whole mechanism that I won't describe for taking the tiles, but you're taking the tiles, you're putting them on your board, which is like a map, and it has a few fixed terrains on it, and then some of the tiles that you're taking and placing have scoring conditions. So like have the largest wooded area and score 5 points if you've got that kind of thing. Yeah, really nice. Isn't a short, fast game, but doesn't outstay its welcome. It's kind of thing that I might buy at some point, but probably won't. But would also always play if it's available and somebody wants to play it. And it's nice game. Definitely check that one out. And then Friday, loads more people turn up because that was the start of GRIDCon proper. And Thursday night, I've actually got it down as Friday because it was past midnight by this point. No thanks, brilliant game, fantastic for playing right at the end of a day of playing heavy games and even mid-weight games at a convention setting. Get a bunch of you, play No Thanks, it's fantastic. That was Thursday. On to Friday. So over the weekend I booked a number of games on. So I booked one on each day of the 3 main days, so Paul has a Slack for patrons, and in there somebody was looking, or was it in the Facebook group? He also has a Facebook group for GRIDCon, and in one of those 2 places somebody was looking for a teach of Too Many Bones, so I signed up for that, and he'd bought the Undertow expansion, which can be played standalone, but it only has 2 gear locks that come with it, and he didn't have any other bits for Too Many Bones. So we sat down and we played that. In the end, I didn't really need to do that much of a teach because he watched videos and pretty much knew the game. But he played Duster, who was one of the 2 gear locks in the Undertow. I played Stanza. We made a bit of a mistake with setup, so we made it a little bit easier than it should have been, but it was a weird game in that we got all the way to the Tyrant fight without really actually doing many battles. We were getting, I think I had not done anything other than upgrade my character for the entire game until the Tyrant battle. But it was really fun. It was kind of a shame that we didn't have more battles, but it also kind of showed what makes Too Many Bones unique and interesting is the variety of encounters you get, and like one of them was an encounter where you had to play dangerous darts against this kind of I think it was a mechanized gorilla or something, just bizarre thing, and if you won that then you had to do a battle, but it was you had to pick one player to play both the dangerous darts and then the battle. So the person that was learning the game, we had him do both things so that he could experience dangerous darts, and then because he did win dangerous darts, which is quite unusual. Dangerous darts is one of those things that you rarely actually win, but he did, so he got to then fight the battle, which it was like day 3 or 4, something like that, so he wasn't very skilled up, and the battle was against a 20-point baddie, which are like the hardest baddies in the game, other than the tyrants. So he just got destroyed. which was fun in itself. But he got to experience a bit of how battles work before we got to the Tyrant. And then as I say, I think all the rest of the encounters were non-battle encounters until and we chose a Tyrant that was fairly short because we didn't want the game just lasting hours. Got to the Tyrant, did that. We were playing against forget the name, Colossum I think it is, who's like, again, giant monkey or gorilla with a brain on his back for some reason. Anyway, we managed to win, which was good, and I managed to experience Stanza, who I've not played before. She's really interesting. In really different way of playing with her. I definitely have to play her again at some point and hopefully get a few more battles, because the way her songs work and stuff is it seems complicated at first, but I don't think it actually is once you actually understand how it works. But interesting. Plays nothing like any of the other Gearlogs. That was what day was that? Friday morning. Then played the game that I'd booked in, which was Atiwa, which is the latest one from Uwe Rosenberg. I think, is it Uwe? I think it is Uwe. Yes, because it's the bat farming game. It's Uwe, and you have to feed your people. It's really important, and there's breeding. Definitely Uwe. That's a really interesting game. Really simple. And this is a phrase I'm going to use again later. Simple but complex, in that there is a lot of stuff that you have to keep in mind whilst you're playing. The actions themselves are very simple. There's not a huge number of them. I mean, it's an UV worker placement, heavier worker placement game. It's not where would I put it? It's not a Agricola or a Feast for Odin level of heavy worker placement, but it's a little bit above Nosfjord or Hallertau, I think. So sort of in that range somewhere. And it's set in Africa. You are farmers in Africa, and you're working with the bat population in the area to sort of help. The bats help you fertilize the ground, and the theming of it is, I mean, it's Uwe, so the sort of the farming theme comes through, but then not much more, other than it's got bats and it's in Africa and you're doing farming stuff. But it's really interesting. There's as I said, there's a lot to keep track of. The way animals breed changes from round to round, so different types of things will breed at different points, so you have to keep track of that, and there's quite a nice sort of resource management thing going on. It's one that I need to play again before I decide whether I want to buy it, but it's very high up on my wish list at the moment. It may move down, it may move up. It's not quite at the I need to buy this now level, but if somebody were to gift it to me, I would be very happy. That's the kind of level it's at. So that's Atiwa, another new game, Essen release, worth checking out. And then in the evening we played Dune Imperium. Now, I went into this not really knowing what to expect and not being sure if I was going to like it. I love it. It's fantastic. It's just so good. It's not my favourite game of the convention. We'll come to that in a minute. But it is really, really good. It's the simple deck building. Again, in fact, I think the theme of the games that I played at this convention is simple but complex, because this Junior Imperium again sort of fits that description. The actions you're doing are not complicated, but there's complexity there in the way that everything interlinks. And yeah, so my sort of background with Dune is I have seen the original film. I've not seen the newer one. I want to see the newer one. I have heard very good things about it, and I just haven't got around to watching it yet. And that's about it. Not read the books, so I kind of know the world, but I'm not a huge fan. You know, that kind of level of knowledge of the IP, and I can see that the theme is there. The way the different factions work is related to how they work in the Dune world. And, so yeah, I think if you're a fan of the IP, then you will get even more out of the game than I did, and it's a really good. I went into it thinking it would be more of an American style game, and it's not. It is a true hybrid. There's so much sort of Euro mechanisms along with deck building, but then you've got the sort of American style combat with, it's not dice based, but there's a little bit of unknown information that it's a kind of similar to the Scythe combat, where you've got each player can have cards that can add to their combat strength. So yeah, really interesting, well worth checking out. And I got to play with the fully blinged out version of the game. I think it would be just as good with the normal standard version that doesn't have the minis. But yeah, the minis are beautiful. So yeah, that's Dune Imperium. Then, oh yeah, Friday night. Again, I've got this down on as Saturday because it was past midnight. A couple of us played The Crew, my copy of The Crew, which I have over here, and introduced it to my friend from Malta, who'd never played either The Crew or any trick-taking game before, and yeah, he loved it. It's such a great game. What else is there to say about The Crew? It's just a great game. Then Saturday. So Saturday morning, played Bitoku. This is a game I've played before, and I enjoy it. It's not a game I think I'm ever going to own. It's a little too fiddly. But if I'm at a convention and somebody wants to play it, again, I'm going to play it. It's, yeah, I really love the game, and I love the art, and I love everything about it, but for the fiddliness and the length of the game and the setup in particular, it's just so many bits you have to put out, shuffle and put it and do this and do that, and yeah, it's just tedious. And then you have the tear down as well, because you have to organise everything and make sure. Yeah, it's just. But yeah, the gameplay is fantastic. It would make a really good BGA implementation. If it was on BGA, I'd play it like almost endlessly. It's that good. And then in the afternoon, played the game that I'd organised for that day, which was Lacrimosa. This is my game of the convention, the favourite thing that I played. Other than Marvel Champions, I'm only considering sort of games that are new to me in this. Again, simple but complex. Again, has an interesting deck building element to it, like Dune Imperium, but it has some interesting twists on deck building and card tucking action selection. So you start with 9 cards and you end the game with 9 cards. So although you're deck building, your deck is never getting any bigger, and every round you will use 8 of those 9 cards. Every round. So you buy a card in round 2, you are guaranteed to see it and to be able to use it in rounds 3 and so on. If I remember rightly, there are 5 rounds in the game, and that also means that you can't, well, I don't know, maybe it would be possible, but I don't think, not sure. I certainly wasn't able to sort of replace all of my cards with better cards, but I did replace probably about half of them. And the cards themselves, the ones that are available in the market, are split into 2 different types. There are, I suppose I should tell us, in case you don't know anything about it, I should say something about the theme of the game. So Mozart has died. We are patrons of Mozart, and we are being commissioned by his wife to complete his last work that he was writing on his deathbed and didn't get finished. And we're also sort of collecting memoirs about him. So the main board has sort of 3 areas. There's at the bottom, there's the sort of opus area where you're doing a kind of area majority scoring type thing, and then in the middle there's a big map with various places in Europe that you can travel around getting bonuses from, and then at the top you've got the card display. And as I was saying, the cards in that market are divided into 2 types, memories and opuses. The memories are the ones that go into your hand and are actions that you can do. The opuses, you can perform or sell them, and they give you bonuses for doing that. But the action selection mechanism and the reason you will play 8 of your 9 cards every single round is you have 4 turns per round, and you play 2 cards. One tucks in at the top of your player board, one tucks in at the bottom. The top one is your action for that turn. The bottom one is resources that you will get at the end of the round. Now, generally these are resources that you are spending to do the various things like buying cards and moving round and actually no, not buying cards. That is just an action. That doesn't really, sorry, correct myself there. It does require resources. So the resources you're using to buy cards, move around the map, and commission opuses, which is the bottom part of the main board where the area majority stuff, which it's a bit hard to explain, so I won't go into detail on that. But if you want to find out about that, watch a video on it. It's really interesting in and of itself. And there are I want to say 5 actions in the game, and they're all really simple. It's just like do one thing and that's it. But then the memories that you get that give you better actions, they're like do this one thing and this other one thing, or get resources and do this one thing. That kind of improvement. And the cards are split into 5 eras, which are the 5 rounds that you play over, and so they get better. And yeah, the resource part of the card, some of them have things like victory points, so you can build like a victory point engine just from that, and you get those resources at the end of every round. So if you start getting those early, you can start building, and then there are things like the tiles that you pick up in the map. They give you either one-off or ongoing. Are they ongoing? No, they're all one-off or end game scoring. And then when you do the composing of opuses bit, you get tiles from that give you either one-off or ongoing bonuses. And yeah, I managed to get a ongoing bonus that gave victory points for doing a certain thing, and then started to build my decks so that I could do that thing more often, and yeah, get more opuses because it was connected to the opuses that I had, and make sure I had those. Yeah, and so was managed to get quite a nice point scoring thing going on there. And then I also got some cards that had points in the resource part, so I was taking those. It was really, so I was getting loads of points, and I think like in the last round I got 9 or 10 points from just that part of it. And let me see, the winning score was like 78. So yeah, you're looking at scores in the range of 70 to 80, I think. I don't know if we actually scored well or badly. Yeah, and I kind of didn't completely ignore the composing of opuses, but didn't focus on that as much as other players. And yeah, I came second with 75, so really close, and the player that won did really focus on that, so it shows that there are multiple ways to do well in the game, which I really like. So yeah, check out Lacrimosa, really, really good game. Then, let's see, what did I do? We didn't actually play anything in the evening that night. So let's go on to Sunday. Started the day with really nice little, not even sure how to describe it, a game called Dungeons and Dragons Dragon Scroll. Basically, you have a dry wipe map of a dungeon, and there are features within this dungeon, and you've got a dry wipe pen, and you start at the start point. Basically, there's a boss that you have to get to, and it's basically a maze. You have to work your way around there, but these features, there are different types. Some of them you have to just draw a line through, some of them like numbers that you have to connect up in order. There are spells where you have to follow the pattern of the spell on the board. Treasure you have to draw around the outside, and then little minions that you have to colour in, and you get to the boss at the end and colour him in completely, and then as soon as one player's done that ends the round for everybody, and then you pass your sheet to the next player and they score it for you. So like each feature is worth a victory point of that kind of thing, and you also have sort of player powers. So like I had one where the spells, instead of having to follow the pattern, I could just draw a circle and then carry on. So you kind of get the ability to do something a bit faster or to score more points for something, that kind of thing. Really nice, yeah, very light, very fun. We played sort of 3 rounds of that, and there were sort of different levels, so we played different difficulty levels. I didn't do very well. I think I take too long doing things because I often got to the end or very close to the end where the boss was, but somebody else got there quicker than I did, and yeah, I don't think I won any round of that. We then played Cubitos, which is, I think it's been out a year or 2. Really nice kind of, it's not a bag builder because you don't have a bag, and it's not a deck builder because you don't have a deck, but you're kind of rolling dice that work in a kind of deck building or bag building manner. And you're racing round the thing, but you get the dice have money and you can kind of bust, and it's just fun. It's nice little fun game. If you haven't seen it, check that one out. It's worth, again, it's one of those I'll probably never own a copy, but I'll play at a convention kind of game. And then we finished up Sunday with another new game, Heat, Pedal to the Metal. It's from the same designers that did Flamme Rouge, and it's the same mechanisms as Flamme Rouge with a few things added on. So if you've not played that, you have a deck of cards that it's a racing game. So Flamme Rouge, the original, was bicycle racing. Heat is car racing, and yeah, your deck of cards, they have numbers on, and that's how far along the track you move. And then you get things like in Flamme Rouge, it's like tiredness, I think, I can't remember the exact term it is, and then in Heat it's heat cards, and there are like rules for sort of slipstreaming and that kind of thing. In Flamme Rouge you also have 2 cyclists. Each player has 2 cyclists, so and 2 decks. With Heat you just have the 1 car and 1 deck, and really nice. It's it's a lot of fun. Again, another one that I'm probably never going to own, but I will play at conventions for definite. Great little game. And so that was it. Weekend of fun gaming, a lot of things played, very tiring. I did have another game. I had Woodcraft organised for the Sunday, but I was so tired I cancelled that, and one of the players wanted to leave early, so I checked with everybody else and they were all fine with not playing, so we didn't do that. And then I missed one thing. I got a teach of John Company, and we played like a round. Really good. I backed the Kickstarter on that and got it just before the convention, and hadn't had a chance to look at it yet, and so I'm really grateful to the person that taught us that. It's really interesting. You're going to need to like negotiation, or to be the kind of person like me that in negotiation games will just do what he wants to do. And I don't really negotiate in negotiation games. I will, if somebody wants something from me, then I will try and get the most out of it, but I make a decision and I do it, and it doesn't really matter what any other people say, so I kind of let them talk themselves into giving me stuff to do what I was going to do anyway, that kind of play. But yeah, really interesting. Don't know if it's going to be one I keep, but probably will be. I don't know. It's a difficult one because it's fairly limited scope in terms of groups that I would play it with. But it has a solo mode, which is really interesting because it's a negotiation game. How do you do a solo mode in a negotiation game? Don't know, but it was developed by Ricky Royal, who also did the solo for PAX Premier, and if you don't know, John Company is designed by Cole Worley, who also designed PAX Premier. Love PAX Premier. I haven't actually played the solo in PAX Premier, but I've gone through it, and it looks really good, and I have heard good things about the solo in John Company, so that's what I'm going to try at some point when I've got time and energy and all that. So yeah, that was the weekend. Yeah, really good. I'm now absolutely exhausted, and I'll be travelling home tomorrow, and yeah, looking forward to whatever the next convention I go to is. Might be AirCon or LyriaCon. AirCon, if you haven't heard of it, is another one in the UK. It's in northern England. GRIDCon is South England, Taunton. Some say is southwest England. Yeah, AirCon is in Harrogate, which is northwest-ish, I think. It might be northeast. It's north anyway, and I live southeast, so it's like either convention is travelling for hours to get there, but yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, or LyriaCon, which is in Portugal. The problem I've got is that AirCon and LyriaCon are like 2 weeks apart, and I don't know how easy it is to get tickets for LyriaCon. I suspect it's fairly difficult, so I might have to leave that till the year after. They're in March, so that's early next year, so it might be 2024 by the time before I do LyriaCon. But I'm going to look into it and make a decision between now and then, because LyriaCon is one I really want to do, mainly because one of the people that tends to go to that convention and was actually at GRIDCon is Vital Lacerta, and I've not really talked about it yet on the channel, but during lockdown, and it's part of the reason I haven't been putting out very many videos, is I started playtesting for Vital on his Discord server. Anybody can do it if you're at all interested in playtesting. Easiest way to find his Discord server is to go onto BGG, look up his designer profile. He's got a list of the games he's working on, and within that, at least it used to be, I assume it still is a link to his Discord. If it's not there, leave me a message. I'll get you an invite. It's completely open. Anybody can join. We're working on his next game currently. Playtests are once or twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Depends on where he's at with his what he wants to do with the development of the next game. And we're also finishing. Well, I say his next game. We're finishing off his next release, which is going to be Inventions. I can't remember what the subtitle is now, but it's got a subtitle. Again, look it up on BGG. yeah, and I've been really involved in that. I started towards the very end of the On Mars development, and I did like 1 or 2 sessions. I don't even remember exactly, playtest sessions on that, and I don't think those were even with Vital. They were like sessions other playtesters organised, and then did a little bit on the solo. And then there was actually not sure what the ordering was now. I think Weather Machine was first. After that, got really involved in Weather Machine development, and then there was the expansion for On Mars, Alien Invasion. Or those might have been the other way around. Honestly, cannot remember. Yeah, didn't do there wasn't a huge amount of playtesting done for Alien Invasion through the Discord. Obviously, there was more playtesting done by Vital himself. But yeah, I got involved in that a little bit, but mostly Weather Machine, really involved in that right from the very start to the end. And there are things in Weather Machine that I can see that are things that I contributed to. And then again with Inventions, I have been involved right from the very beginning. Right when, like, the early versions of Vital's games, there isn't even a win condition, that kind of level of game design. And yeah, he has honoured me with a developer credit on Inventions, and so yeah, that's why I say I have become very involved in playtesting for Vital, and hence not making quite so many videos. I intend to try and make time for more videos. I've also picked up miniature painting again, so that's taking a bit of time, although that's dropped off again. But it's kind of, yeah, I'm kind of having to juggle the different things, and but yeah, with the playtesting, we're starting the next development, game in development. So that's taking up a bit of time. But yeah, what I was saying was, if you want to get involved with that, then do, because the playtest sessions for the game we are currently working on, they are open to anybody. Don't feel that you have to sort of be asked to join by Vital or anything like that. You can just join the server, get involved, get some playtesting, give feedback. That's really important. And then, yeah, just become a part of the sort of playtesting community on that server, or even just join the other people on the server, because there's a lot of people that just, talk about games on there, and they do a bit of playtesting every now and again, but it's more of a community thing there. But yeah, I don't know why I even started off down that, other than I guess I was sort of explaining why I haven't really been doing many videos. And yeah, I'm going to try and do some more, but the channel is going to be much more sporadic than it ever has been, and it's never been not sporadic. So yeah, expect me to still put videos out, just not as often. And yeah, last couple of years have been difficult in terms of just having the time and energy to get videos done, but there will be more. I've got a couple of thoughts about things I want to do. I will. I think I'm probably not going to do playthroughs anymore. They take so much time and energy, and editing. It's just yeah, and I'm now looking at the time on this video and it's like 50 minutes, and I know there's good 10-15 minutes before this, so I should probably wrap up here. So thank you for watching, especially if you've watched all the way to the end. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. You know, it kind of helps. The algorithm doesn't really look at that kind of stuff anymore, but it's still useful. It's good to know that people are watching, kind of thing. And yeah, I hope to see you all in another video in not too long. I hope it's not going to be Aircon before I get another one done, or LyriaCon, whichever one I go to, I will probably do something again like this. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you around.